live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome once, welcome twice. Well, I'm thinking I'm in church. Welcome in the name. The old folks say the Baptist church. Can I get amen? Amen. I just need my organist here. That's what I need. But nevertheless, we are here tonight. We are going live here in Fresno, California. We're waiting on one of our guests. She'll be here in a little bit. And, it's been a lot going on, since the mayor race. We kind of want to dissect a little bit of the mayor race, just a little bit, with my guests in the studio. Look at this king and queen over here, okay?
How you doing?
The king and the queen, all right? But we just happy to be. And I'm going to come over here with you all just a little bit. And I've been going since 4 o'clock this morning, and I'm still going. But I guess, when you're building community, that's what it takes, is to keep going. But we got some new news yesterday with the mayor count, and then all of a sudden my phone is ringing off the hook like Fred Flintstone, and I'm like, what done happened? 9/11, and people say, what's going on, Harris? What's going on? I'm like, well, I don't know. You tell me what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm at work. And they said, Andrew Jan threw in the towel. And I said, what do you mean he threw in the towel? Said, the vote count is at 3 o'clock. They said, yeah, but he conceded. He conceded.
Pitiful.
It's part of the master plan. Come on now. Come on now.
Did he think that?
When you have a former police chief and you have a former deputy district attorney, both running for mayor in the same town, in the same city, you trying to tell me both them old dogs wasn't hunting together? Come on now.
Yeah.
You know that there was something in the woodwork that wasn't supposed to be there. Something in the water does not compute. These cats had game plan from day one.
And now?
From your perspective, tell me what you think their game plan was.
Look, from my perspective, it is this right here, okay? Jerry Dyer, our former police chief for over, 18, 20 years? Andrew Jans, who was a deputy district attorney.
Still is now.
Oh, still is. Okay, see, I didn't know that. But now that we got that out there, so who has spent his time locking up black and brown folks, and a few white folks that create crimes? You mean to tell me both these cats running for mayor, supposedly pitting against each other, wink, wink, nod, nod,
Two sides of the same
coin, and you're going to tell me that these guys did not know, had not sat down and conspired together about, well, look here, let's make it look like we're going against each other, but the bottom line is, let's split some votes. Let's split some votes. Let's have people actually think that we got a problem with each other. Either way it goes, the city keeps that same old boy network in power.
Well, I know when Andrew Jans came to the West Fresno Democratic Club to give his pitch and to seek an endorsement, I'm assuming, because we didn't vote that day on an endorsement. I asked him, as the president at that time of the West Fresno Democratic Club, and I said, Andrew, it seems to me that, you were pushing this whole law enforcement thing, and all this, and now you pulled back on that, and you say you want more community engagement and blah, blah. So how do you reconcile that? And he said, oh, well, I know it seems that way, because that's what I ran on when I ran for the 16th Congressional District against Nunez, but yeah, it's different now. And I'm sitting there looking at him like, really? It's different.
What was different about it?
Well, I guess because he said so. But for those of us who have lived in Fresno a long time, I'm looking like, hello, something wrong with this picture. So many people have said that the picture that was taken, I think it was at Fig Garden, of Smith Camp, Andrew Jance's boss, and Jerry Dyer together, the three of them meeting. What was that about? Well, what was it about? It was about exactly the outcome that we're talking about.
Exactly.
Jerry Dyer became the mayor of Fresno. No runoff needed. He got 50% plus one and beyond that. So he is now the executive officer of the city of Fresno.
Of the city of Fresno.
And some of us have a problem with that because this dude is like Teflon. Nothing sticks. He has had a known relationship with an underage female when he was earlier in the force. He has apparently cheated on his wife. He had a deputy chief in Mr. Foster who was dealing drugs and had an office just down the hall from Jerry Dyer. And we know for a fact, because he said so, that he profiled black people and brown people.
Right.
So why would we put this man in a position of leadership in Fresno, California in 2020?
Exactly. But then it makes you look and go, what are we actually dealing with here in Fresno, California? Because if such a man can get 51% of the vote, what does that say about the electric walking around in this city? What vision do you really have? Because according to Jerry Dyer, he wants one Fresno. My vision is one Fresno. What the hell does that actually mean? And who's that going to benefit?
Exactly.
Do me and you benefit from that? Does the west side, the southwest benefit from that? Or will it be just like it was in the past? Like when I grew up in the U, better known as the East Gates. But Jerry Dyer waged war against us. In order to keep from policing the community, he tore down and destroyed the community. Where my childhood home is now Gaston Middle School. So if it sounds like I'm bitter, damn it I am. I'm going to just be honest with you. I ain't got no love for him. But if he claims he's going to clean up, who is he going to focus on? Are we going to try to move forward and make this an honest, decent Fresno? Or will it be the same old, same old? Is the Deering plant going to be allowed to run roughshod over black folks? Is the police force going to continue to beat black and brown folks and get away with it? Because again, to this date, to my knowledge, no police officer still has been charged for the things that they have done in the city of Fresno.
They've killed several people.
Yes, they have.
So, Reverend Harris, let me, I know you're the host, but let me ask you, when you heard that Jerry Dyer had got enough votes to be mayor, what were you thinking at that time? As an activist, as a leader in your community?
Well, I've been in Dyer's back pocket for not money, but a thorn in his rear end ever since he's been chief of police. And when I say in his rear end is because, I deal with policy. I don't deal with your personality. I deal with policy. I think a lot of people in our community, and they can do whatever they want to do. I'm just talking about me right now, is that I deal with the policy of Dyer, and Dyer has had bad policy ever since the chief of police. And when I was told the information, I kind of felt like a dark cloud just over the whole city. It just like went dark to me, like a storm.
Okay.
And I just sat there in my bus and I said, wow. I said, to me, we see Dyer, but it's the people who voted for Dyer who I'm more concerned about.
Right.
That's who I'm concerned about, because those are the people who financed his campaign.
Exactly.
And then when we look at who financed his campaign, we have to ask the question, why? Why would you finance a campaign of Jerry Dyer, who has the worst record of a chief of police ever in the city? The scandal, for lack of a better word, with his deputy chief. The question came to me was that, you know, he said that he didn't know. He said, I didn't know that my deputy chief was in this criminal activity. The FBI came in and had him under surveillance, had phone records, wiretaps on the on his second in command. And he said, I didn't know. Maybe he didn't know. Just give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he didn't know.
Okay.
The question becomes, why did you know?
Didn't you know?
That's right.
Exactly.
Am I right or wrong about that?
No.
Why did you not know?
What
that,
kind of shoddy police work was that?
Exactly.
I mean, why did you not know? Because he brags about his budget. He brags about his prestige.
Right.
Yes.
He brags about all his officers. He brags about being the president of California Police Association.
And a
He
Christian.
brags about all his accolades.
Yes, sir.
Just brag. But what was interesting to me was Dyer would say, we're coming to clean up the community. In other words, we're going to get the person selling drugs. We're going to get the person gang banging. We're going to get all these people because they're criminals, they're thugs, they're no good people, and we're coming to clean up the community.
Right.
But I said to myself, well, if you know the criminals in my community, why didn't you know the criminals
In your own department.
in your own department?
That's right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So just that alone shows that he was incompetent, even if he said, I didn't know.
That's right.
You should have known.
You should have known.
Should have been the first to know.
But what was more interesting was that the city council said nothing.
Nothing.
Got quiet as church
The
mice.
board of supervisors said nothing. The California Police Association, and he was the president, said
Nothing. No.
None of the preachers said
Exactly.
nothing. So I'm sitting here looking at all of this and I'm processing this. And I'm saying to myself, had that been a black man,
Oh, no.
oh, there you go, Harris, you talking about race again. There you
We
go.
have to talk about
Had he
race.
been a black man as the chief of police, and this would have happened, white folk up north would have said, oh, no, you got to go.
You got to go.
No, you can't represent our city doing stuff like that. You got to go. You got to go, black man.
They would have showed up with their pitchforks and torches.
But when a white man does something, it seems like there's a double standard
Always.
in this country for over 400 years. And so it's
Always.
like, if you're white, you're right. If you're black, go sit in the back. We still dealing with that mentality
The
here.
Mississippi
And I
First.
said, where is the accountability?
And that's where we're at now. So my question is this now. Okay, so he's in office. All those people who were in the anti-Dyer camp, the Rambulas spent almost $100,000 fighting against this man getting elected. Okay, the forces that got him elected. So where's the accountability? I think that there needs to be a forum, a summit of all the people who have accountability issues with this man.
Yes, sir.
To come together and decide how we're going to monitor him as a mayor.
Yes, sir.
And I'm only saying that because his record lends itself to being watched.
Yes.
Okay, he says he's a Christian. Well, alrighty then. Let's then you should have no problem being transparent.
That's true. Now, that's between him and the Lord, but transparency should be
Taxpayers want to see
job
some-
number one. Taxpayers want to see what we are paying for.
That's right. Now he made homelessness one of his planks after Brother Harris made homelessness one of the cornerstones of his campaign.
Right.
And I'm thinking, okay, so now what you gonna do? Because these navigation centers he's talking about, you know, you're an Army vet, and I would love to hear what you think about these navigation centers that Dyer says is gonna be beneficial to the homeless.
Really?
Yeah, he says, well, you know, we're gonna have them throughout the city. Well, both you and I know that's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
He wants to center it in Southwest Fresno. You know, because that's the dumping ground for Fresno people. If y'all didn't know that.
Yeah. Southwest and West Fresno is the dumping ground for the city. Because you can guarantee these so-called navigation centers, you will not see one out in River Park, player. Not gonna happen. You're not gonna see one in Fig Garden. Not going to happen. You won't see one up on the northern end going towards Madera. It is not going to happen. Because the people out there who got this here, who got that money, they're not going to let it happen. And he's going to take his marching orders from the folks who supply the cash.
That's right. That's right. And I know Miguel Arias, the city councilman for District 3 that covers Southwest Fresno, has said he doesn't want them there, the navigation centers, centered there because Southwest Fresno already has a proliferation of those kind of organizations. You've got your Palo Varelo house, you've got your rescue mission.
Right.
And you've already got, you know, hundreds of homeless people sleeping in Southwest Fresno outside.
See them on a daily basis.
Now, Jerry Dyer said, oh, we're going to put them throughout the city. I ask you, Brother Bullock, do you think that he's going to put a navigation center in Northeast and Northwest Fresno?
I can guarantee you that is not going to happen. You will not see a navigation center anywhere in that northern area. The northern hemisphere, that's going to be clean. It's not going to happen. Because one, they're not going to allow it.
Exactly.
That is going to be a problem best dealt with, if I can use that term, for the west side and the southwest side. Because that's where all of the underaction takes place.
Let them tell it.
Let them tell it.
Yeah.
See, what'll happen over on that side is they'll get a new shopping center. They'll get a new strip mall. They'll get a new business. Something that the Southwest has been crying for decades. Decades.
And I do believe that one of the shows that Reverend Harris did last week, he had a whole list.
Yes, he did.
Of businesses that used to exist in Southwest
Once
Fresno
upon a
that are
time.
no longer here.
No longer here.
And so,
You know, we, not to cut you off,
No,
but we
please.
have Brother Wildstar. Are you there, my brother? Hello?
I hope he's there.
I
This
definitely
brother,
hope he's
I
there.
hope he's there. Because Brother Wildstar, you were one of the black men that stepped up. All
Hello,
right.
sir. Can you hear me? They did it to us. They did it to us.
We can hear you.
Text him and let him know to just speak.
So don't hang up, brother, because we having some technical.
Please don't hang up. We have some technical difficulties.
But we want to definitely hear what you got to say about this, about what we do now, because you, Brother Jefferson, Brother Harris, you guys are going to be our on the vanguard of what happens next in Fresno.
Man,
For sure.
I'd even like to hear from Richard Renteria. Now, call me crazy if you want to, but Bill Gates, always saw a picture of Bill Gates. Never saw Bill Gates at any function
Never.
we were at.
Never. And we were at a lot of functions.
And we were at a lot of functions. So my thing makes me ask this question: was Bill Gates an actual candidate, or was Bill Gates a candidate that was put together as someone to
A spy?
Steal votes?
Good question.
Because an actual person never seemed to materialize at these different events that everybody else was at.
And when we did see him, it was hard. I don't know what his ethnicity was, but he did not look to be, you know, I don't know. But he did not look to be
Right.
Caucasian. I'll say that.
Right. American Indian, Hispanic, Asian.
Maybe.
But, you know, very mysterious, that particular candidate.
That particular candidate. But, you know, the headline should have been, we had 3 black men running for mayor in 2020 in Mississippi, Fresno. That's the headline.
That was the headline that did not
No.
get any traction whatsoever.
No traction whatsoever, including from the California Advocate.
Right. Fresno's only black newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your perspective
Name
on
on
that?
it.
How the California Advocate endorsed Dyer and didn't even talk about the black family?
Well, I wrote a letter, and my friend here helped me deliver it.
Yes, sir.
And it's only four short paragraphs, Reverend Harris. I'll read it for you if you like. Okay, so this is my letter to the California Advocate dated February 24th, 2020. It's from Marlene Reed, a resident of Fresno, California. I have been reading and supporting the California Advocate for over 30 years. While I have seen major changes at the paper in the last few years, none disturb me more than their endorsement of Jerry Dyer for mayor of Fresno. While many expect this kind of viewpoint from mainstream media outlets, some of us felt the Advocate was more progressive. Mark Kimber has disabused me of that notion. If the Advocate is going to treat black Fresno residents like every other mainstream media outlet, why do we need it? Ill treatment by your own people always seems to hurt worse. This endorsement is not about the First Amendment. This is about a racial betrayal. A betrayal of blood and bone. There are 3 black men running for mayor in 2020. That is the headline. And I delivered this to Mark Kimber.
Hand delivered.
I hand delivered, and I got a phone call from Mark Kimber less than an hour later, and he wanted to discuss the reason that he was endorsing Jerry Dyer.
Yeah, and that one statement he made, that still irritates me.
And
They weren't qualified. How do you know?
exactly.
Did you sit down with Pastor Harris? Did you sit down with Nickolas Wildstar? Did you sit down with Brian Jefferson? Did you try at all to pick these men's brain to see where they were, what their platforms were, what their visions were? No.
That would be a no.
No, you did not.
You just took the easy way out, took the money way out.
He took the money way out. He folded the tent. He took the money that his palm was greased with, and he sat back and buck danced and grinned and said, "Here it is."
There is no way that is not a betrayal of the black community, the
Very
black
much
and brown
so.
community in Fresno,
Very much so.
endorsing a known racist like Jerry Dyer.
Very much
Now,
so.
Jerry Dyer will say, "I'm not a racist. My wife is Mexican." Really? Really? Come on now.
But the fact that you said out of your own mouth that you profile black people.
Yes, there it is, right there. There is the proof of the racism.
That's it right there. This is like dealing with a modern day Bull Connor. And now he is the mayor of Fresno, California.
And so it begs a question, what now, Fresno? Because this man is going to do to Fresno what Trump is doing to America. And hey, we're in a pandemic right now in America.
Yes, sir.
So can you imagine what Fresno is going to go through under this man's leadership? And I'm
Man.
putting that in air quotes.
And that's exactly what it's going to be. That is exactly what it's going to be. You know, he said he was humble. Said he has his vision and what he would like to see happen. But like I said earlier, what is that going to mean for the minority residents
That's
of
right.
this city? We've had a lot of mayors come through here and promise us changes, promise us
Exactly.
equality, and they have yet to deliver.
This is a prime example of why we needed somebody like Floyd Harris residents of Southwest Fresno being notified about the Southwest specific plan and a meeting being held on March 14th at Burris Financial on North Hughes. Now, Brunette Harris, Diane Smith, and Bobby Parks have been talking about this for years. Now it's come up for review. The general plan has already been put in place, and now this is Southwest specific. So people are trying to figure out this whole gentrification thing.
Bluetooth.
And
Say your voice. Say your name.
And so we need to be well advised, people. All y'all who decided that voting wasn't important, but civic engagement is not important. You ain't got time to be bothered. Well, you know what? If you ain't got time to be bothered, the government gonna have time to be bothered with you. The next time your child or your grandchild is walking in their neighborhood and they get profiled and pulled over and jumped on, the next time that you don't have enough money to pay your taxes,
Exactly.
and you gotta roll it over to the next year, and the next thing you know, you getting deluged by people who want to buy your property cheap. You know, the next time you have neighbors who have lived in their house for decades, but they can't afford to fix them up, and they have to sell not because they want to,
But because they have to.
but because they have to. This is what you get when you do nothing and just stay in your own bubble. You have got to get out there and fight. You have got to get out there and fight, people.
So we've been having some technical difficulty here, and I have one of the mayoral candidates, Brother Wildstar, with us tonight. Blog Talk once again is censoring me again. Seems like I get censored a lot for some odd reason. But Grandma said you more than one way to skin a cat. So
Exactly.
we're going to still have our brother on. I just want to tell our brother that he came over to my church and interviewed me, and we had a great time. And I just want to say it was, very historical to have 3 black men running for the mayor of Fresno in 2020. Under a Trump administration, a very conservative town, we all represented the people. We represented our culture and everybody. And so it was just an honor to even sit on the platform with my brother here. And even though we know that Dyer has become mayor of Fresno, it'll go down in history that there were 3 black men stood up during this time right now. And brother, just feel free to talk. We're just talking about our experiences. We were talking about how, well, I'll talk about how I was treated. I'd like to hear how you were treated when it comes to the media, Fresno Bee. I wasn't invited to really anything. It seemed like the Fresno Bee was just saying, there's only 2 leading candidates, Jan and Dyer. And, and there were other people. And I just don't feel that was right. But go ahead and take the floor. We're here to listen to you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having me on first and foremost, and giving me an opportunity to be heard by, your audience as well as more people in Fresno. I think it's very important that we take the opportunity to, show some togetherness in our pursuit in reclaiming our government. Especially with what's happening right now with the takeover here in Fresno by the establishment. They succeeded in doing exactly what they wanted to do, which was take power over we the people. So we have to stand together to show some sort of resistance against the machine that is, because it will seek to oppress us in every way, shape, and form, and with our mayoral campaigns, we saw that be expressed in every way, shape, or form. I mean, media censorship, neither one of us got any exposure during Black History Month of all months, when you have three candidates running for mayor of Fresno, which is historical in itself. We have three black men running for mayor. It's just awful that we were shunned out and not given the opportunity to be given an equal platform to be heard on as Jans and Dyer was. But I also think it's an opportunity for us to step up to the plate to kind of, again, show that togetherness. I think it's unfortunate that it's after the fact that we have to, put together some sort of alliance and show a united front. And that's actually what we need more in the black community, is more coming together to show how we can actually persevere together. I mean, just in me getting into the mayoral forums or getting any speaking engagements like at the the Fresno Rotary Club or any of the forums, I kind of just had to wiggle my way into those type of situations, and I'm kind of used to that after me running for for governor twice here in California. So in my pursuance of public office in those elections, I learned a lot. And from what I learned is, when it comes to any candidate that's challenging the status quo, you're not going to get much publicity by the mainstream media. It is only going to be up to the independent media, the independent journalists, the underground journalists, and publications that are going to be resources to provide the information, the truth to the masses. It's unfortunate that the masses don't pay attention to those outlets when they're the ones that are providing the most information, the most imperative information. But when it comes to the mainstream media, I think it's kind of like you got to play the game, so to speak. They like sensationalized stories. They like drama. They like, any type of story that's going to grab headlines. So I think we as three black men, had we showed a united front in the beginning and actually started staging our own forums and debates and having our own news conferences, it would have gathered more attention to all of our campaigns, because we are, again, doing something historical here, not only in the city, but in the state of California. It was much appreciated by many of the people that I spoke with. A lot of them were happy to see a black man running for mayor, here in Fresno, that is predominantly white. But when it comes to the political arena, it is controlled by white people. So we as black people got to recognize that. So we can't rely on white-owned media to provide us the truth.
Right.
We're seeing it happen with the Democratic races, with the presidential election. They're lying to people. They're going to continue to lie to people. That's their job. So we can't expect them to ever tell us the truth. One of the only black publications here in Fresno decided to endorse Dyer. What was it, the California Advocate? Why is that?
Yes.
And I'm a new person here in the city. So I'm really learning about not only the city, but the black people here in the city, which is always different no matter where you go. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You know what I mean? As much of a homeboy as I may be when it comes to hospitality and, being neighborly, etc., something that seems to be common here in Fresno the black people here are different, just like they are in LA, than they are in Florida, than they are in New York, you know? So when it comes to uniting the black people, how can we do that?
Yes.
And I feel like as black leaders, it's up to us to show that camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? Despite our differences, it was unfortunate also. I was approached by people, you know, on your campaign and other people's campaigns saying they were only wanting one black candidate for mayor, and I should end my campaign simply so we could gather behind one candidate, or one black man candidate, you know, mayor campaign. And that's unfortunate because we see that happen with white people all the time. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 candidates, you know, that are all white. Look at what's, again, happening with the Democratic Party. There is an argument there saying we only need to have one white man running for president. Why do we do that towards each other in our own community? You know, and instead of showing or instead of expressing more unity, more solidarity, you know, despite whatever our political party may be, you know, whether you're with the Poor People's Campaign or the Democratic Socialists or the Progressives or the Libertarian Party, you know, like I am affiliated with. If we want to show a united front, we need to put all differences aside and show our common difference, our common goal here, which is to take back our streets, our community, our power, with having some say in government to our hands. And we've let that now slip through our fingers. So now what do we do about it? You know, and we can't keep playing this game where we're playing makeup in hindsight. After everything has happened, we want to complain about it later. We can do something about it now. We always have an opportunity to step on somebody's toes. We need to be habitual toe steppers. We need to be challenging the establishment. We need to be on the front lines for the working class, for the poor people, for the rich people. You know, for those that want more of our government, you know, want more equality. They want more diversity. They want less government involvement. They want less taxes, you know. They want less abuse of authority. And that's what's happening is we're paying for our own oppression here, not only in the city of Fresno, state of California, but in America in general. And it needs to definitely end. Somebody needs to step up to the plate to say that. I'm happy to do so. You know, I'm proud to see another brother such as yourself doing so yourself. So that's why I'm happy to, at any point in time, you know, call on you as a brother in arms to take back what's necessary. Because it is about that time. I hate to say it.
Well, you know, I never would have thought in a million years that the California Advocate would endorse Jerry. I mean, I would have went close to say they would have endorsed Jan. But one thing I found out that in Fresno, we have a lot of, I'm gonna use the terminology of folks that has money as their first interest and not the moral capacity of people. And that whole piece was about money, because when you look at the statistics of Dyer as a chief of police, when you look at his history, you'll see that it all boils down to he's the opposite of what the Advocate is endorsing. And, you know, he profiled us, he shoot us, his policies. And that was the other problem that I had, sir, is that we couldn't get on the stage with Jan or Dyer. I mean, it was like we had to almost break in just to try to get on the same platform, but I understand why they didn't want us on the same stage. because they didn't want truth. They didn't want policy to be debated. They just wanted to talk about little surface marshmallow conversation. And so, even at the forum over at the church, I heard you say something about Jan's, I forget what it was, something. And he got his feathers got ruffled. And, I'm proud of being a DA. I'm proud of locking people up. I'm proud of, putting people in jail and all this type of stuff. And historically, that's what we've been dealing with over 400 years in this country, is being oppressed, depressed in our community. And so I just think that, I wish, you said earlier that we could have, all three of us come together. I mean, it's water under the bridge now, but it's still a starting point, because we're going to have people coming after us, and they can use us as a benchmark, use us as research. So we have to tell the real story about what really happened with this campaign in Fresno, because, we're going to have other blacks, men and women, running for office.
Oh, yeah.
And who knows, we may have...
You cannot be afraid.
Right. That's the whole thing. I mean, I had pneumonia, and I was just all messed up, and, and then, my campaign manager, Maria L., she did a wonderful job running our campaign. We got in the race real late. But, she told me, she said, it just seems that they just took our information and just started to put it in their campaigns. When you really, when we did the timeline. And she's here, I want her to talk about that, because we're letting the Fresno people know there's people all over the world live streaming, watching us right now. And we're not through. We haven't even started yet. And, but like I said, I hope the three of us can get together and, sit down and talk. And I'd like to take a picture with all of us together, and just for memory, reasons, and write a story behind it, from our own perspective.
Oh, yeah, that would be fantastic. We definitely got to get together for a photo op sometime, too.
Yeah.
That would be a great photo right there. And definitely monumental in many ways, because, like I said, what we did here in the city was historical. For the three of us to get more than 1,000 votes, and generate the type of response from the city that was doubted at first by the establishment, by Jans, by Dyer, even by Jans, who was running as a Democrat and supposedly was standing up for people of color, but like you said, during the forum, kind of went on attack after I pointed that out. How as a prosecutor, as a criminal prosecutor, your job is to put people of color in jail, period. You, Jans, just like Dyer, has made his career off of putting people of color, black people, brown people, in jail for nonviolent crimes. And it's unfortunate that he can tout with such esteem about how his record proves about how he's a defender of, our rights and a fighter of crime. But yet at the same time, we as black people don't see how he's lying through his teeth. Anybody that has ever dealt with any criminal case knows that the prosecutor is not your friend. Anybody in the DA's office is not your friend. The public defender, a.k.a. public pretender sometimes, is not your friend. Unless you're paying for an attorney, the legal system has no justification for you whatsoever. It's not in your favor, because it views you as the enemy out the gate. So if you're guilty before proven innocent, how can you ever fight a system where the cards are stacked against you? And he's saying, through his record, this is my job, I've done it well, and you had over 39,000 people vote for him. I wonder how many of them were black, And that's what I mean about black people getting away from tribalism. We've been duped. We've been We've been conditioned into believing that the political system cares about us, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, that they care about us. They do not.
They do not.
You know? And they don't give a damn about us. You look at Barack Obama, who was a black man who sat as president in 8 years as president of the United States of America, the most powerful position, and he still didn't keep black people from getting shot and killed in the streets by public servants, people that they're paying for with their taxes to provide protection for them in the community. But they want to demonize them when they go out and protect themselves by means of carrying a weapon, you know? So if they're in their own community and they're protecting themselves, they're criminalized by a system that they pay for to protect them. How is that ever going to be fair? So it's kind of a backwards way of thinking that we've gotten, again, conditioned into believing that is going to be beneficial for us. We need to stop thinking that by voting for a Democrat is ever going to change that. We need to stop thinking by ever voting for a Republican is ever going to change that. Like you pointed out, money runs Fresno. I learned that the hard way. Money runs Fresno. And money ain't white in Fresno. Money is green, it's black, it's yellow, it's Mexican, you know, it's everything. Okay? And the majority of the people here in Fresno are public employees. So of course they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. They're going to vote for Dyer, you know, because he's going to make sure that he's paying into the system. Or Jans, somebody such as myself was offering to end all of that. You know, I wanted to end our tax dollars having to pay for these people getting paid $250,000 salary. When the average person, the average household family brings home about $30,000. How is that fair? They're getting paid 6 times the amount of the average family in Fresno. It's not fair. But who's going to bring that information to light? And the public, the mainstream media, they could care less about doing it. The swear engines, they're tied into it. What is it? What's her name? Smithcap, tied into it. Okay? All of these are long, established families with deep-bedded roots in the history of this city. So they're never going to give up that power. They're never going to give it up. We have to take it. And people weren't thinking that way. They let the election slip through to where now Dyer is mayor, and we have to suffer through it over the next 4 years, grit our teeth and bear it, and whatever happens, we'll be kicking and screaming along the way.
Oh, that bastard speaks to the fire.
What's that?
We have to hold his feet to the fire. This is where we become his problem. I understand what you're saying. But what we do now is, this is where we have to hold their feet to the fire. He wants to be mayor. He wants to have his vision. Well, tell us what you're going to do for us, because we actually pay you to do this damn job.
That's the point of it now. Now you hold them accountable. And that's where we, the people,
Exactly.
not just some candidates,
Exactly.
This is a movement now.
community or et cetera, everybody step up to the plate, hold this man accountable, because everything that we want and desire of our community, he needs to bring it to fruition. If he doesn't, then we should be recalling him and first giving opportunity.
We were just talking about that, brother. We were talking about the fact that all the people who were working on the anti-Dyer campaign, the Ramblers put $100,000 into that. Okay, that didn't work. But all the people who are still here and feel strongly about this, we need to be forming a movement right now. This could be the wellspring that we need, the push that Fresno's need to do something progressive and positive and not take this lying down. Because there's a lot of us who wanted anybody please but this man who is a known criminal. But this shows the corruption, the rotten, corrupted core of what Fresno is as a city. And as somebody who was born here and raised here for the majority of her life, this is very hard to swallow. So I think that we should not lose this opportunity to come together as residents and fight this, fight the power.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree with you more. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to topple the system by way of the people power and the real people power, because not only do we need to hold our accountable, but yes, we need to also hold those anti-dire groups that were against them in office, because if they're going to be passing any policies that increase the cost for taxpayers or people here living in the city, or pass policies that attack or infringe the rights of the people here in the city, then yes, they are equally responsible. So it's awful that they wasted all of that money on these anti-political campaigns when they actually could have helped people in the community using that money. It's awful when I see, politicians do that.
Right.
Themselves over $500,000, wasted on doing nothing. The guy did nothing. I mean, come on, he didn't even show up.
Nope.
Two of the four.
Nope.
He still won.
Yeah.
It was handed to him. He didn't win. It
Well,
was given to him.
It was given to him.
It bought for him.
Bought and
Sister
paid
Maria's
for.
right, bought and paid for.
Oh, yes.
But the thing is that we have to understand that when the budget comes out for the city of Fresno, 75% of that he's going to want that to go to the police department, and so that's the biggest gang in Fresno right now.
Oh yeah.
So we are.
Flag right there because they already get enough money in this for the first one to survive at least. And we need to make a stop to that already. What is it? The interim police chief, Andy Hall, asking for another $250,000 to buy brand new guns.
Yeah.
Brand new handguns, because he's saying the ones that they're using are out of date or whatever. Actually, you need that money on the train, so you can actually learn how to use the handguns that you already have, because you're misusing those,
Yeah, you using
And you're,
people of color for target practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Using people in the community for targeting. So it's all a matter of us taking the initiative, even with I pointed out with regards to me getting into the Rotary Club. I was invited there to actually speak. They told me all of the candidates were going to be there because they're a nonprofit organization, and they were going to be because they can discriminate. So they were going to invite all candidates there. The same thing happened with the Fresno Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They had a breakfast meeting where they invited out Dyer and Jans to speak, and they didn't know, supposedly, that any other candidates were running. I'm like, are you kidding me? All you got to do is check the city's website. If you have anybody that's, I guess, legitimately looking for official information, that would be where you go to find it, not Fresno B, But I guess because they didn't know any of the other candidates were running, I was able to get in there to get invited to come and, be in attendance, and they were going to let me speak, but then when I got there, they said, hey, we're only going to let Dyer and Jan speak, and then we're going to have you guys come back another week and about next week or something like that. Never called me. Fast forward now to the Rotary Club. They invited me out, said they were doing the same thing to all of the candidates. So if anything, I was thinking I was going to see all of you guys there. I get there, and they're trying to tell me that because Dyer and Jans were invited as special guests, would I be willing to come back another time as a special guest as well? I said, well, hey, it wasn't that the point here today? You told me every candidate was going to be given 15 minutes to speak to everyone. I would like to have that opportunity. You know, it's 2 weeks before the election. I don't have time. You know, my schedule won't allow it. So they were like, okay, and they kept going back and forth, and are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. You know, and they would go back on stage, talk to Dyer and his crew, and they finally came back and said, okay, we'll give you about 5 minutes to speak before, you know, these guys get up here and debate. That's basically what they ended up doing, was having an impromptu debate between Dyer and Jans, which I wasn't even aware about. But I get up there and they maybe gave me 3 minutes total before they, you know, shushed me off stage. But that's what we had to deal with. And I think even if I was running as a Democrat, I still would have had to face that, you know?
Right.
Even if I had money in the bank, I still would have had to do that. Because it's all about those relationships that are long established here in the city. You know, you got Camp there and Arias and, you know, all of these other powerful people in the city, I guess, here at these breakfasts, these luncheons, and they're all paying, you know, $50, $150 a plate to schmooze with each other. And again, to keep that closed network of friend, take care of friend, brother for brother, basically, to keep that going. And it's up to us as candidates when we get in there to expose it. I did my best to kind of shed some light on it as much as I could, but, you know, who's really paying attention when you're not talking about the Kardashians or, you know, something that doesn't really have anything to do with anything, unfortunately. So it's all about gaining people's attention, and we can't go about thinking that Black people are monolithic in our being. We're not all the same. We're all different, you know? But they're going to approach us like we're all the same. We need to let them know, no, we're not all the same. We're all different. Let us show you how we're going to collectively do different, though. You know? We're going to collectively vote different. The Black vote matters, but we keep selling out that Black vote.
Yeah. Say that.
That one right there.
You know?
Well, listen, so not to cut you off, but Maria, our campaign manager, just stepped in as well, and we want to give her some airtime, and maybe I'm gonna give her the phone, and we're so you can hear her when she speak, and so we just been kind of going around the room, just kind of talking and giving our perspective, and she was the one who was really, because you know I received a lot of attacks from really Black people, to tell you the truth. That's who really attacked me. That wasn't even non-Black. It was all Black who attacked me.
You would think the attacks would come from white people. No, they come from Black people.
Sad but true. Sad but true.
I'm going to do something good for us, and you still want to drag me through the mud. They would tell me, like, brother, great job, I'm proud of you, but you ain't going to win. I'm like, thank you, that's so inspiring. You already know the odds are against me, but you want to just push it in my face, you know? And it's like, why do we do that to each other, you know?
Yes.
But if we had the money, Aaron, I kid you not, if we had the money, all right, so you're with the people's, poor people's campaign, right?
Right.
Okay. If you would have had to pull some celebrity power and gotten Danny Glover and all of them people affiliated with that down here to campaign for you, I kid you not, you would have gotten more of the votes than Jans.
Oh, yeah. They'd come out the woodwork.
Because that's how the game is. When you talk about playing the game, It's all about celebrities. It's all about, you know, oh, this candidate raised this amount of money in 24 hours. Why does that matter? You know?
That's a true statement
If I
right
got
there.
enough signs around the city, and if I'm able to get my name presence out there just as any other candidate, why does it matter how much I fundraised? Because that's all they pay attention to is money. I put a recording out about the Fresno Bee. They left a message explaining why candidates such as myself and you were not seen as viable candidates. And he specifically said the main reason was we're not going to gain name recognition because we're not fundraising enough. Period.
And this is a democracy.
Must be the money.
Right. Exactly.
Must be the money.
Okay, we're gonna let Maria speak. So she has the phone. Okay, she can't speak over the phone. I'll hold the phone. Okay, so Maria, so you're the campaign manager, and you were on Facebook just going at it with people, and people were saying that I split the vote.
Yes.
Why?
Well, they said that you were taking votes from Jans, and Jans would be able to win, or at least force a runoff if you threw your support behind him, as opposed to gaining people that would vote only for you or even another candidate. So I believe that they just set that up as sort of like a scapegoat, that you would be splitting the vote. We never felt that way. We felt like if we garnered enough of the votes, enough percentage, then at the least we could force a runoff. But nobody thought that way. From the very beginning, in June, Smith Camp, Dyer, and Jans met, and it smelled fishy from that point on for us, because we said, okay, here it is. Smith Camp is Jans's boss, and she's endorsing Dyer. Like Wildstar, like you brought up, they have deep roots, long roots, wealthy roots in Fresno, and I just felt like Jans was a smokescreen. And also, like you mentioned, the people were duped. We were hoodwinked. And we had this, what seemed like, sometimes it seemed like it was only about 12 of us, that could see that Jans was a tool, Jans was a smokescreen, Jans was an illusion of, we have a candidate who's going to be for the people. And like Reverend Harris mentioned several times throughout the campaign, this guy just dropped out of the sky.
Yep.
He's never done anything for the community. He doesn't have a track record. He doesn't even have a volunteer track record of doing something in the community. He didn't run like Sister Arlene just mentioned, he didn't run a strong campaign. He never put Dyer in the hot seat. He never asked those critical questions that you need to bring out to prove that this candidate has no intentions on building Fresno, making a healthy Fresno, and providing equity in Fresno. So it was just those type of things that let us know that theory that we had, that Jans was a smokescreen. Jans never intended to win. We kept trying to convince the people, and maybe we spent too much time trying to convince the people that Jans did not intend to win. Here we had progressive people backing him, thinking that he was the only viable alternative to Dyer, when in actuality, he would get on the stage with Dyer, and you would think that he met his, he was a fan, that he finally met, his idol, his hero. It didn't seem like he, I never thought he was genuine. I not one time did I think he was genuine.
He wasn't. He was part of that Dyer campaign.
His responses were very to serve the people of the community.
No,
I
he
mean,
didn't.
really, he was just propped up for a smoke screen, like he said, because the establishment, the machine, the Democratic machine, wanted the candidate to challenge the Republicans. It was a power move.
Well,
And because they saw him as being someone that could do that, but be safe in doing so.
And that's the
After
problem,
after running against Nunez, that's the only reason why he parlayed that
Right.
into a run for mayor.
Well,
Right.
I found it interesting, Brother Wildstar, that Jans never talked about his heritage and his ethnicity until the very end. Now, obviously, to look at him, and I don't want to stereotype, but it's obvious that he was Asian or part Asian, and he talked about that at the very end.
The very end.
At the very end, but in an area like Fresno that we have so many diverse people and
Tricycle.
ethnicities and languages here, you would think that that would be
Tricycle.
something he'd be proud of and be talking
Tricycle.
about. But he did not do that. He did not do that, and I just found that odd. I found that odd.
Yeah, he was around with Daddy E, the state controller, do some
Last minute.
campaigning with her.
Right. But I wonder how many Asian groups here in Fresno endorsed him. How many Asian groups did he go to and talk to on a one-on-one basis? I'm not going to name any names, but I know at least one group that he hadn't talked to. And this is 2 weeks before the election day. He hadn't talked to them. I find that odd.
But I find it odd that here was a man that every opportunity, you heard it out of his mouth. I'm here for the people of color. I'm with the people of color. I'm here for you. But yet, he had no real power
No real power.
in those communities.
Exactly. So we found that telling, and I think Maria did an excellent job
Very much so.
of breaking all of these issues down for the people, and that's why so many people tried to come after.
She put a lot of light on a lot of darkness.
Yes, she did. She did a good job on that.
Yeah.
Afterwards, also, what you do afterwards also proves your intention. And I actually went to the Chinese New Year parade that was this past Saturday in Fresno. And James wasn't there. Dyer wasn't there.
Wow.
So Dyer is the mayor to be, and James is supposedly,
Right.
connected with the Asian community.
Right.
And neither one of them were present.
That's very telling.
Neither one of them cared.
Exactly.
These people got played.
Yeah.
So, how can we collectively say we're going to take back our power? And one of the things I speak of often is it seems very radical because I'm a very radical person and I think we're in some radical times. So, I think we the people can come together civilly and peacefully, revolt against our government, and we can collectively put together what's called a common law grand jury. Okay? Common law grand jury. Look it up, people. If we were to do this, it's about 25 of us, regular people of the community. We just come together and we claim ourselves to be a common law grand jury, and we would immediately have authority over any public official here in the city of Fresno.
Oh, I like
Okay?
the sound of this. Oh, yes, indeedy.
Yeah, that's the kind of thinking we like.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Outside the box.
This is real. This is real deal. I'm telling you, it's legal. It's legit. I know attorneys, and it's sound. And it's been long established and supported by the Supreme Court, okay, of the United States of America. Any city of any state people of the state can create a common law grand jury, and if we were to do this, we now would be able to go and remove Terry Dyer from office, or Jans, or anybody else that we felt was, not holding up their end of the bargain as far as doing their job.
Well, we are definitely interested in forming that.
Yes, indeed.
All right, great. Well, then we definitely need to talk more.
We need to talk more about it.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Let's get together and create this common law grand jury because we're all going to need to be committed towards doing this and claiming our people power, our judicial people power that we actually have in this country, because that's what's more important is if we start teaching each other about the legal authority that we have over our public officials, because they work for us.
They work for
It's
us.
a legal contract. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States of America, is a contract between we the people and our public servants, the people we pay for with our taxes. And right now, the government is the largest group of employees in the United States of America, okay? So we are paying for a large majority of the public, and we need to cut a lot of that money and save it for ourselves and our kids and, creating a better society so we can all be prosperous, not just a specific group.
Right.
Exactly.
Well said, brother.
Well said. Well said.
Well,
All
brother,
right, great. Well, I'm glad to know that we found some common ground here because that's where it starts.
well, they always said, the old folks said civil rights movement always started in the living room.
That's right.
But brother, we just want to thank you, man, and we'll be back in contact with you. We'll get a hold of Jefferson, and I still like to write an article, just for documentation reasons about how this conspiracy went down, and you write about the money piece. I remember that he said they don't have any paid volunteers, and they don't have what did they say? They said we didn't file a paper, that was over $2,000, so we can't take them seriously, and just all kind of. But yet, our campaign, they never printed it in the Fresno Bee, just sound bites, Harris says that the police can't come into the community like a RoboCop. I'm like, bro, that's a sound bite. That's not our platform. Right? So it was all orchestrated by the power structure, and everybody see that now, and we're just educating everybody. And like you said, we're going to build from here. And I like that what you just said about the, what did he call it, the common law. Yeah, and I know that they're not looking for us to do that. So we already started. We already started. All right, brother, we love you, man. Thank you for coming on, and we'll be in contact with you.
Okay, much love to you also. I appreciate you speaking with me this evening, and we'll talk again soon. You take care until then.
All right. You can check the live stream on the show. All right. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Long live liberty.
All right.
Peace.
Let me cut that off. So there you have it. We have a new mayor now. I really don't know how to feel about it. It's kind of.
Well, the new mayor was your old police chief.
Yes.
All right, so let's just keep it real. That dog don't hunt.
Yeah.
And the only thing that the minority community can look forward to is the same old.
Yes.
Unless we stand our ground and make some noise.
Form those coalitions.
And that's just talking about people like Pastor Harris here, who has run for mayor. Hey, I don't care what part of the city you live in, Calvert, the Zeppler homes, Malaga, Pinedale, whatever. Get together with the folks in your community. Let them know that you're not going to stand for it. You're not going to put up with it. Put you a coalition together. Hey, get in contact with us. Get to know people. If you don't want the same old going down in the city of Fresno, it's time to make some noise.
That's right.
It is time to make some noise.
I just want to say that, we have 48% of the people that voted that said no to Dyer.
Exactly.
If we have 48% of those who voted that said no to Dyer, we have to come together. If this showed us nothing else, we know Jans is out now. We know Jans is going to go back to his job, and, you know, he's going to probably get promoted.
Yeah, he's done his job. He did what he was asked to do.
And now this is our time to get our retribution. This is our time to get that power back that we've always talked about getting back. And Wildstar also mentioned about getting that people power back. The power belongs to us. We need to take it back because they're not going to give it back. So I just believe all of that 48%. We need to get to the table. We need to plan. We can outthink them. We can out-strategize them because they don't expect anything from us. Exactly. So we can gain ground, but we really do have to come together and be smart.
Yes,
be strategic about how we make our leaders accountable. And like we've always believed, and Wildstar also backed up tonight, if they don't come through and do their job, then we get them out of there.
Exactly.
And we've seen this before, people in Fresno. We've seen this before. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember when Jeff Wright was representing Southwest Fresno in an open run district. You didn't have to live in your district to run for a certain part of Fresno way back when.
Right.
This man, who was a known racist, got elected to represent Southwest Fresno, and the people in Southwest Fresno pushed this issue where you had to live in the district that you represented. So he could no longer live on the north side, hating black and brown people, and represent black and brown people in Southwest Fresno. So what we have here is a similar situation with Jerry Dyer being elected mayor with 48%, as the Sister Maria said, that are against this man. So what are you going to do about it, Fresno? You going to just take this? No. We're going to start a movement. Because this just ain't about Jerry Dyer. This is about the livelihoods and the lifestyle and the quality of life for your children, grandchildren, your elders.
Exactly.
And the babies yet to be born. Make no mistake. These people have a plan for you, and none of it's good.
And none of it is good. As you notice, dairy plant's still up and running. I am 60 years old. That means that plant has been around as long as I've been on the planet, spilling noxious fumes and death on this side of town. You mean to tell me no one on the city council, no one on the city board, any of these boards, air quality, whatever, has looked at this and said, this cannot be? You still making deals with these folks? They still up and running?
Yeah, because they don't live on this side.
They don't live on this side. So therefore, it don't matter to them. They don't have to breathe this air.
No, but we have young people who are willing to fight. Some of us belong in the tooth, okay? Most of our race has been run, but we have got the fire in our bellies. But we have young leaders here, young black leaders, who have put themselves on the line to make a better quality of life for Fresno. Don't let them down. Don't let yourselves down. We gonna do this. This is a movement.
And this is for that crew that's out there that always like to say, there they go again, playing the race card. They always want to throw the race card.
That's right.
You leave us no choice but to throw the race card, because that's what you made it about. Now, I would love to be treated like anybody else, but I know that's not gonna happen, because as much as y'all like to holler about they using the race card, well, you the one put it in the deck by the policies that you pull as far as governing what goes on minority sides of town. You treat us like you treat everybody else, we wouldn't even have the race card issue.
That's right.
But you don't do it. So this is what you got.
You got brothers like Reverend Harris who gonna tell the truth.
Exactly.
Not afraid to tell the truth.
None whatsoever.
So
I'm not afraid to take action.
Not afraid to take action.
So I think someone said that What was the post someone wrote that all Harris got was under 2,000 votes?
Oh yeah, like Adrian Harris wrote a post that said, "Who runs for mayor and only gets 2,000 votes? Who does that?"
But that's 2,000 they didn't get.
That's right.
Because ain't nobody seen their name on the ballot.
Because they wasn't brave enough to step up and.
Nobody saw their name on the ballot.
Well, the interesting part is that, when you look at the timetable of the race, because I know Eileen was on me announcing, I think, June. And we didn't announce or was officially recognized until November, somewhere in there. But these people had all this time.
Right.
Campaign,
Fundraise.
fundraise.
Mm-hmm.
We got in the game at, it's kind of like getting in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you got in late.
But what was interesting was there was 7 people running.
Yes.
7 people running, and we came in third.
Yes, we
Right.
did.
So that I guess Adrian or whoever said that I believe the city council holds about 100 people. Say 200 people. Top and bottom. Say
Yeah.
200 people.
About 200 people.
But we got 2,100 votes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we could pack out 2,100 people at City Hall at a meeting. Sends a strong statement
Yeah.
Exactly.
about the Harris campaign and what we
Exactly.
stand for.
Very strong.
So don't count out the small people,
Oh,
Right.
no.
because the small people have a lot of power and we have a lot of juice.
Yes, sir.
I'm an organizer. It's in my blood. And, I got a 9-inch book of service, community service.
I'm a witness.
I've given this community. So I'm not no paper boy. I'm not nobody new. I'm not a
Right.
leprechaun. I'm not new to the game. I'm true to it. So all those people out there who said all those negative things about me, I know who you are, and I still gotta love you anyway. But I don't forget.
Exactly.
And revenge is gonna be the Lord's, not mine.
Yeah.
I just have to keep loving the
Say
people.
that.
That right
Yes.
there.
And
Say
I just
that.
have to keep encouraging the people. Well, let me say this before we go off, because we're getting ready to go off the air. I was eating lunch the other day, and I was sitting. You know how at the side of your eye you see somebody doing something, and you just kind of look. And it was a black brother. You know what he was doing? He was in Pandas. He was taking plates out of the garbage can. I think he grabbed 3 plates, and there was food in the plates. It was lunchtime. And you could tell that he had, some mental issues going on. He was dirty, he didn't smell, right. He was talking to himself, But he went in a garbage can, and he took out 3 plates, and he put them on the table. And then he had dropped some rice or something. I said, what is he doing? And then it dawned on me that he was hungry.
He was hungry.
Now, Pandas was full of people. And because he was on the ground trying to pick up the little rice and put it in the garbage can, I must have sat there for about 3 minutes. But everybody in Pandas looking at him. Even the cooks were
Yeah.
looking at him. So what did I do? I looked, but I acted. See, we have too many people looking
Right.
and not acting.
Right.
See, when you act, it takes courage.
Yes.
When you act, it takes backbone. When you act, it takes discipline.
Right.
When you act, you have to be transparent.
Yes.
So, black community in Fresno, majority of them just want to look. See, we're the type of people that get in the game. We don't sit on the sideline, nor do we sit in the stands,
No.
nor do we sit in the parking lot nor are we at the concession stand getting a Frito bowl.
That gonna happen.
Eating.
That gonna happen.
We are a type of people. I'm putting this out here right now,
Yes,
so everybody
it's
that's
true.
watching us
Mm.
right now understand
But understand.
that we ain't going nowhere. This is our soil. This is our turf. So look and learn.
Pack
If
'em
you're
up.
gonna look and learn and get some courage. See, I wish I could make a pill that will give people courage in
Yes.
Fresno.
That right there.
That right there.
I wish I could make a pill that the so-called men. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not talking about all men. But I will say, if the shoe fit, wear it, what I'm about to say. I wish I could make a pill that I could give to our black men to grow some testicles in this community here.
Well,
Some real testicles to be able to speak truth to power.
right.
Now, I apologize. That might be kind of vulgar and out of order in front of our women. I'm not doing that. But I get tired of seeing so-called men in boy shells.
Right.
All right.
But you
now.
want to come out here and deal with a real man. Understand that we're on the field where the plays are being called.
Exactly.
It's different.
We are on the floor
Come on.
where the game plans are being called.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where we at now in
That's where we're
2020.
That's where we at.
So it doesn't matter who in the hell the mayor is.
That's right.
That you're going to have to deal with us now.
Yeah.
And understand there is no for sale signs on us. There's no
No.
clearance tags on us.
Come on now.
What it is, we want justice, freedom,
Say
and
that.
liberation for our people.
That one right there.
That's
Our
it.
parents came from the South here in Fresno to build a community for their children.
That's right.
And now all of a sudden, what do we have going on? We have voter suppression going on.
Yep.
We have our own black media, California Advocates, sold out. We have the see. What you have to understand is you can't eat from the oppressor table
Nope.
and then think you're gonna hold the oppressor accountable. It doesn't work
It
like
don't work
that.
like that.
Right.
See, chickens don't run with chicken hawks.
No.
Am I
Not at
right or
all.
wrong?
Right.
Am I right or wrong about
Come
that?
on now.
Right about
Chickens
that.
don't run
Break
with
it
chicken
down.
hawks,
Break
huh?
it down.
It ain't gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
So we have to make people take a position. We have to make them take. Now we want to know what side of the fence you on.
What's
Yes,
you on the
sir.
side of the fence of the people, or are you on the side of the fence of the oppressor?
Exactly.
Because
Yes.
understand, either way,
to
we're going to
choose.
expose you. Either way it goes.
One way or the other. You will be called out.
Because we ain't going nowhere. We're going to be right here.
We're not shooting with no damn blanks,
Nope.
huh?
Not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
No.
So it doesn't matter who's the city council person. See, we are building
A movement.
a movement now
We coming.
because we understand now who's on whose team.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, you bet on the wrong horse. You see what I'm saying? You thought that you could break me. You thought that you could talk about me. You
Oh,
thought
yeah.
that I would lose my character, and you'll say, "Oh, look at him. See, there you go."
It was counting on that.
But see, when you have strong people around you, when you have praying people around you,
All right now.
when you come from a stalk, a Harris stalk from Arkansas, from the South, you can't break that. And so we're going to pass that energy that this mayor race did for all of us. And all the supporters and people who donated their monies and time and all that. We appreciate
Those
all
2,000.
of that.
Appreciate you.
We're going to put it out on Facebook. We're going to give a big thank you to
48%.
everybody.
Yes.
And the thing is, you know, we had opposition with friends of mine.
Yes.
And we're going to mend those relationships because it ain't about us.
It's
No.
not about us.
It's about our children.
Huh.
See,
That.
the white children that go to Buchanan High School in Clovis West, Buchanan,
Well,
all those big fine schools out there, they're sleeping good tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Comfortable.
They got nice big homes and nice beautiful yards, and they don't have a darling in their community that cook dead animals.
Can breathe nicely.
They don't have to worry about that in Clovis and up but we do. And so when you see, it's like a train. I work for the railroad, and you know how I knew a train was coming? It was vibration.
Vibrations, baby.
See, some vibration gonna come now.
See.
And then all of a sudden, then you look down the track, you say, little bitty light. Yeah, no. But the ground is vibrating.
The ground is vibrating.
And you keep looking, and that light gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and before you know it,
boom,
the train is there. So the Gap Band said, what? The train.
Don't miss this train.
Don't miss the train.
All right.
We coming.
Justice, no
All
peace.
right.
No peace.
we just keeping it real and 100, y'all.
All power.
All right. Okay. Thank y'all. Love y'all. We'll see y'all soon.
We'll
And
holler.
keep watching my Facebook. Thank all of y'all who supported us and passed out flyers, whatever you did. We just thank y'all. We'll be sending out a thank you to everybody, and get with us. All right, fist up.
Power to the people.
Power to all people.
All right.